Hello everyone and welcome to your guide to the British Indoor Karting Championship, also known as BIKC. I created this guide as I've been receiving so many questions on the competition itself, so I thought it'd just be best to make a video on it for all to see. You can send this video to anybody who might be confused or need some help with what BIKC is actually all about, or just some more details on the competition itself. I will try my best to cram as many tips as I can into this video from my previous experiences and other people's experiences to help you prepare in the best way possible for your BIKC campaign. So let's get into this. To enter BIKC, you will need a KI license, which you can obtain by purchasing a TeamSport Elite membership. The membership costs you $34.99 and you can purchase it at your local TeamSport track or on their website via their booking app system. Once you have this membership, you will be able to enter BIKC. You can now ask a staff member at your local track to apply your entry to your race license, or you can even do it through the app yourself. I would suggest to double check with your local track that you're fully signed on and ready to set your lap times before jumping out for your first session. You'll need to select a category, and there are 5 of them. First you have Cadet, which runs in the smaller cadet karts and is up until 12 years old. Next is the Junior category, and drivers may compete in the Junior category from their 12th birthday or the year of their 12th birthday. Drivers may continue to compete in the Junior category in the year of their 16th birthday should their birthday fall after the 31st of August. Now we move on to the adult categories, starting with lightweight, which is for all drivers under 75 kilograms. Next we have middleweight, who will have a range of drivers between the minimum of 75 kilograms and 90 kilograms, which finally leads to the heavyweight category, where all adult drivers will be over the weight of 90 kilograms. I would strongly recommend getting yourself properly weighted as soon as possible, so you know which category you're competing in. You're not allowed to use weights or any sort of kind of ballast, and in previous years we've seen drivers find out that they are underweight and then they get kicked off the competition entirely. I would say don't try and risk it in any way. If you're even over 0.5 kilograms under the limit, then you'll be excluded from the competition, which has also been seen in previous years and I've seen firsthand. The best way to avoid this is to get your equipment in your own home and just check your weight and weigh up and see if you can weigh over the limit or if you're under limit, and find out, which category you're truly in. Most TeamSport tracks should also have some scales lying around the track, or even they are weighing drivers actively before applying the weight class to their TeamSport account. But don't get this step wrong, because it will hurt you as you get into the racing side of things. So let's talk about the BIKC journey. You've bought your membership, you've selected the right weight class, now you must set your lap times, and this means heading down to your local track on 3 different occasions and setting the best lap time you possibly can do, whilst getting the all-important practice for the local final itself. Once you have your 3 lap times, you will be given an average lap time across those 3 best times you set, and this will determine whether or not you have qualified for the next stage of the competition. The qualifying period will end on August 31st, and those times will be locked in. The top 24 drivers of each weight category at each local track will then be qualified and will be invited down for a local final, hosted at the track you qualified, as this is now the first round of the competition. At this point you can still head down to the track for practice whilst you wait for the local final to happen, because it's usually a few weeks away, and that will be important for you, getting comfortable with the track even just a little bit more and just getting that last bit of practice to help you in your local final. So the day comes and it's time for the local final. Drivers will take a lengthy briefing going through the rules of the competition, which are mostly the same as that of a regular grid members night, but with a few added extras in place. Drivers will then compete in a 15-minute practice session, followed up with a 15-minute qualifying session, and this will determine the A and B final split across the 24 drivers taking part in the event. Once this has been decided, all drivers will take part in a 15-minute race, with the top 6 drivers of the A final securing promotion to the regional finals. The regional finals will be held at another track with the other 6 finalists from 3 different tracks in your region. Here is a graphic of all the regional finals happening for the dates of 2022. Study these carefully, as these will be the tracks that you're competing against at the regional final. If you've gotten this far, well done. You're now just one step from the national final. You will again be briefed very carefully on the format of the event, so do not worry about any further questions you might have, as these will be answered on the day in the briefing before the event actually starts. 24 drivers are once again split into 2 groups and start with a 15-minute practice and qualifying session. This will then be followed by 2 10-minute heats per driver, Starting positions for each heat will be determined by the fastest lap times set during the qualifying session. Each driver will take part in a 12-minute semi-final. The top drivers from each semi-final, which are the top 6 in the adult categories and juniors, or the top 5 in the cadets, will progress to the final. Grid positions will be allocated by a combination of finish position in the semi-final and the fastest lap in the semi-final. And to take pole position for the final, the driver must win their semi-final and hold the fastest lap for the semi-final winners. Finals will then be 15 minutes long, and just the top 3 drivers make it to national finals. Only the top 3. Here's a quick breakdown of the points that you can score in the heats, with the top drivers scoring the most points and working its way down based off finishing position. And we move on to the final stage of the competition, the national final. Live on social media and streamed to the world. There will be a lot of eyes on this competition, with everyone looking to become a hero. If you've made it this far, then it's already a massive effort, and you should be so proud of yourself and already what you've achieved, and you should look at doing just the best you can against some of the best TeamSport drivers in the country. The format is similar to that of the regional final, with a 15-minute practice and qualifying, followed by 2 10-minute heats per driver, and that will then move into, once again, the semi-finals, which are 12 minutes long. The top 6 of the adult categories and juniors and the top 5 of the cadets will progress to the final. Grid positions will be allocated by a combination of finish position and semi-final once again, and then the final will be 15 minutes long. Once again, on the topic of weight, you will be weighed in the other categories at random times throughout the course of the event, just to make sure that you're still within your weight category. So once again, you don't want to get disqualified. Make sure you get that right from the very beginning, which category you're meant to be in. And that's all there is to it. A competition that puts you against the best for such an affordable price. If you choose to invest more in practice and preparation, that is up to you, but everyone will have the same opportunities and chances at each final to show what they're all about and do themselves, their families, and even their home TeamSport track proud. In this section of the video, I'm just going to go over a few topics that I've been receiving a lot of questions from, and hopefully clear anything up that people might be wondering about. If you do have any more questions for me, just feel free to drop a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll try and give you an answer. First of all, cameras are allowed, which is great because you can record footage of your BIKC campaign and show other people. However, this doesn't mean that you can use that footage to complain or stage protests or anything about happening on track during one of your races. BIKC marshals will almost ignore you if you take this approach. You're allowed to protest a decision against you or another driver. To do this, you must wait for your race to end and then pay a £10 fee to the race directors, who will review their own CCTV footage of the incident. If you're successful with this, then your penalty or whatever it is you had an issue with will be overturned. However, if you stage a process and you're found to still have broken the rules of the competition in any way, your appeal will be dismissed and you will lose your £10 as it will be given to charity. Events such as BIKC operate at quite a rapid rate and are very hectic from the start to the end of the event itself. If anything goes wrong during the event, you'll know what I mean by the fast-paced environment, and you won't actually have a lot of time to deal with this, so just stay cool in the heat of the moment. This leads me on to my next point. Contact is strict. It's so strict. It has to be strict in some ways, and it's quite frankly brutal for indoor go-karting. All I can say for this is make sure you master your racecraft and driving ability the best you can before the event itself. It may come down to one move at one corner that could decide your whole BIKC campaign, and it's not for the faint-hearted. Once again, just try your best to keep a cool head and ensure you focus on your own racing more than anything. Keep it clean and calm, and there's not much else you can do beyond that. To be successful at BIKC, you're going to have to take risks, but make sure those risks are well thought out and focused on making a good overtake. If you take this approach, you should see yourself not get into as much trouble. Your carts are allocated to you before each race. You should be pretty much used to that if you drive at TeamSport anyway, but you'll not drive the same kart more than 2 times during an event. So this means everyone's falling under the same rules when it comes to racing. Unfortunately, this is rental karting, and each kart does not have its own personal mechanic. What you get is what you get in most cases, and you'll need to build up the skill of just learning to drive different karts in different ways and reacting to its handling in different ways. This is a long and complicated topic, but there will be differences between the karts. TeamSport are pretty good at testing, ensuring the karts are in the best possible place, but there's going to be rockets and there's going to be poor performance amongst them. And they'll move them to the side if it's possible, but it is impossible to keep 100% parity amongst all the karts. If a kart is complained about more than twice, then there's potential for that kart to be removed completely. All I will say with that is, if you've already driven a kart and you know it's bad, the odds of you getting it again are pretty low, and you'd want someone else to drive that kart. So in short, don't worry about the kart and just maximise the results on track. My last bit of advice to you is just behave yourself. It's racing, it's fast, it's emotional, it's the British Indoor Karting Championship. It's best to say that there's going to be a range of emotions going through the drivers and families as everybody wants to do well. Parents, partners, or drivers themselves have pushed these emotions too far in the past, and this is not what anyone wants to really see, and it just creates a bad atmosphere in general. Not to mention spoiling their own day and event themselves. 100% just stay calm when you're competing or supporting another driver, as it will only end badly in most situations. So to wrap this video up, here are my final tips for you. Get yourself down to your local track as soon as possible and start setting your times or improving your racing. Book on to more members related events such as Monday Night Members 3 for 2, which is designed for members to race the track with other members who can learn off each other. Thursday night grid events are also the best way to set your best lap times, whilst also practicing your racing skills. Avoid the weekend sessions if you're looking to take this more seriously, as these will be filled with more yellow flags and drivers experiencing their first times with go-karting who are not sharing the same objectives that you have. And when it comes to regional and national final practice, I would say get down to track before the final itself to make sure you're comfortable with the track and layout. Think tactically when racing, make the right decision and learn to take that chance on track just at the right time rather than when it's too late. People will make mistakes and penalties will be handed out to many drivers across the whole competition. To be successful at BIKC sometimes depends on the things that happen around you rather than your own performance. That leads to my next general tip, which is just to relax and not stress yourself out. At the end of the day, it is a rental karting competition, not the end of the world if it goes bad. BIKC is a hard competition and you will be surprised by the level of competition at times, but just do your best and don't be afraid of making mistakes. And finally, just have fun, especially with the regional and national final stage of the competition. You're going to meet so many new people who race all around the country, and it's a great way to make new friends and form teams even after BIKC comes to a close. I've met so many drivers through competitions such as this, and I still keep in touch with them or even race together to this day. There can only be one winner in BIKC, and starting with a mentality of just doing the best you can is enough for you to begin enjoying the event, and it only comes around once a year. So if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, you can always do it next year, and you have a whole year to prepare for that next campaign. So thank you for watching this video. I tried to make it as informative as possible. I'm sure there are some people with some further questions. Feel free to drop them down below or even head over to the BIKC social media pages, as I'm sure they're even more equipped to answer your questions. I can't answer everything obviously, but I tried my best to clear some things up, and just send this to anybody who asks you about BIKC and it'll be so much easier hopefully to explain to that person what it really is. So thank you again for watching, and I wish you all the best in your BIKC campaign.